Welcome to the 2014 North American Challenger Series playoffs, brought to you thanks in part by our friends at Coca-Cola. I am Rivington Biz, and the third alongside me is Mr. Aiden Zyrene Moon. How you been, man? It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a long time. I think last time was March 8th. So get my Riv fix for the month.
That's too long. Let's make it happen. Tonight we're kicking off the North American Spring Challenger Series playoffs with a best-of-3 match. That's right, Super Week offers a lot. This is coming up between Complexity Black and Complexity Red. Now, let's look at the playoff bracket, because remember, only the top 3 teams will qualify for the Summer Promotion Tournament. In the top half of that bracket, we have LMQ waiting on the winner of tomorrow night's quarterfinal matchup. Either Curse Academy or VVV Gaming will face off with the #1 seed.
And the winner of tonight's match will advance to the semifinals against the second-seeded Cloud9 Tempest.
And, of course, you can always keep up with the Challenger playoff race simply by heading over to lolesports.com.
You'll find stats, scores, schedules, and more under the Leagues and Tournaments tab near the top of the page.
So, all right, let's get into our first playoff match of the spring. We've got a sibling rivalry here on our hands with sister teams Complexity Black and Complexity Red going head-to-head in a best-of-3 quarterfinal matchup. The former Determined Gaming and Skyline teams, respectively, were neck and neck in Challenger points throughout the Challenger Series, but they have yet to square off on the Rift until tonight. Now, as far as Complexity Black, we haven't seen them on the Rift since their 0-2 loss to LMQ in the Series 1 finals.
Yeah, and before that matchup against LMQ, Complexity Black had put up some impressive stats and dominating wins in the first spring series. But like every other team who has faced LMQ, they came up short against the two-time champs. But the good news for Complexity Black is that because they finished second in that first spring series, they not only received an automatic berth into the second spring series, they received 9 Challenger Series points, which was enough to land them here in these playoffs.
All the points. Speaking of those pre-LMQ stats, their superstars, mid laner Prawley and AD carry ROBERTxLEE just plain killed it in the first Challenger Series.
Yeah, heading into the showdown with LMQ, ROBERTxLEE was having a great spring. He had a KDA of 9.6 in Black's first 4 games. But for how good ROBERTxLEE was, Prawley was even better, at least statistically. He had a KDA of 38 in his first 4 Challenger Series games. That's just incredible. He was at the top of those going to that LMQ match. And Complexity Black, they'll need to have their carries put up these kinds of numbers tonight if they want to advance to semifinals and secure a spot in that playoffs.
But standing in their way and spawning on the red side of the Rift is Complexity Red. I love the sister matchup in this. And while they blew away expectations, finishing third in the first spring series, Complexity Red is coming off a disappointing second series where they got beat in the quarterfinals by Curse Academy.
Yeah, they really struggled in that series, getting swept by Curse's Challenger squad and only managing a KDA of about 2. But just like their sister squad, Complexity Black, the Challenger points Complexity Red were able to stack up in their first spring series performance were enough to get them here into the playoffs.
And tonight, Complexity Red will look to regain their first series form with a new starter in the mid lane. It's Fragnatic, who is replacing former mid Golden Glue, who got a quadra kill on the LCS stage today as a member of Dignitas.
Oh yeah, and Fragnatic will have some big shoes to fill trying to replace Golden Glue, because Golden Glue just through and through, he was always a great assassin mid laner, and now he's showing the LCS that he can play that standard. He's got that Orianna, big quadra kill today you were talking about. So big shoes, and that being said, Fragnatic, he could be the wild card in this matchup. He's been around the Challenger scene for quite some time and is bringing lots of experience to the table. He did play on Velocity for a couple weeks there, swapping between, I think it was ADC and mid for a bit. But while he has lots of individual experience, he will have to see if he's had enough time to mesh with his new team, which is just more important than being a great player. You have to bring those strats. You have to bring the cohesion, the golden glue.
Yeah.
The Dignitas saw
they
that coming.
Still have it. We saw what Golden Glue can provide. When I asked him what, he wanted to provide for the team, and it was that I wanted to provide more. It's not that Skara wasn't providing, but he wanted to push himself to do more. So hopefully Fragnatic also can come and fill that position for the team, because they're losing a key point in that. For Complexity.
And whenever somebody talked about Skyline, it was always the first person in my head was Golden Glue. And Complexity Red is like, oh, Golden Glue. But they do have a lot of members from Velocity here. They have SupportDaddy, Evaniscus in the bottom lane. And they also have NK Inc. in the jungle. We're going to see if they can come up big here for their teammates. They have played with Fragnatic before. So we'll have to see if that cohesion is still there and if you could bring that back to the table.
That's another matchup I'll be looking at tonight, and it's going to be a fun one. It's in the jungle. NK Inc. and Brokenshard, both very innovative junglers. NK Inc., we remember back bringing out the Ezreal in the jungle, things like that. May not see it here tonight, but that's the kind of mindset these guys have. Brokenshard, everybody shies away from Jarvan. He'll keep bringing it back to the table. He's not afraid of what other people are pulling out or stopping what they play. He'll just keep going with it, and he usually has pretty good results.
Yeah, and I think the jungle is going to dictate a lot of the pace of this match in the early game. Brokenshard has been focusing on his early game aggression, and he's been playing things like Kha'Zix. His Lee Sin is constantly banned against him, but NKink is also a really good Lee Sin player. He's drawn bans for himself on that, and we're going to have to see how that matches up. And we didn't talk about Brokenshard at all. He had phenomenal games all throughout those first 4, and then even against his LMQ in those finals, he set it up in the beginning very, very well. The first spring series, that was amazing. He was going toe-to-toe. He's actually out jungling No Name a lot of the time, invading, causing a lot of map pressure for his team. And I remember talking to him afterwards, and he's like, I was actually disappointed with how those games went, but he's really happy with his early game aggression because that's what he wanted to focus on, was out jungling them. And then once they got to that point, he's like, all right, goal was accomplished, but didn't set a new goal for himself mid-game.
It's always interesting to really get the inside thoughts of what the players are thinking. Kind of like coming out of a TSM game that they won but was hard, and they're like, we're actually not very happy with that. But it's pretty interesting to know that the players, you know, we may have saw them get 4 kills in the early game, but I made a lot of mistakes. I love that part. Always staying humble. Nidalee Zig's going to be the first ones out here. Saw enough of them in the LCS today, and the challenger teams are saying, no thank you. No spears.
Yeah.
No spears here.
Pretty sure Lulu's going to be banned as well. Kha'Zix is most likely going to be taken off the table.
You don't say.
Oh, yeah. Basically, just throwing the obvious ones out there. But, you know, they could always pull one of those things where it's like, we're not going to ban either of those and leave them both on the table. So you only get one of them, and then
it's
we'll
the pressure pick.
Something else. Exactly.
I like it. Lulu does find herself on the ban list. Kha'Zix probably falling in quite soon. Very outside-the-box players that we can get from these teams. Westrice has kind of shortened up his champion pool, but still has the ability to go out. We know Probably was big when he was in the LCS, coming in for Complexity. He was actually pulled in the mid, and they really got a lot out of his versatility. He's always another player that a team can get behind.
Yeah, and he loves those wave clear champions more than anything. He's been playing the Ziggs forever, even before it was very mainstream, very popular. Not today, though. Complexity Red steals that one away, and yeah, they're forced to ban the Kha'Zix as their last ban.
Who do you see, let's just go with this first. Who do you see grabbing first game based on, you know, what you see these teams do? And then we'll look at champion select and see where they go.
Well, here's the thing is I don't know how Fragnatic's going to mesh with the team, but I've seen Complexity Black's performance, and the only reason they were out of that second spring tournament was because of the forfeit that they had.
Right.
Those 2 games.
That's true.
They weren't able to make it to. So I haven't seen either of these teams since the quarterfinals, and I would actually give a little bit of the edge to Complexity Black based on individual player skill. But I said it earlier that it's about cohesion. You can have the greatest players in the world, but if they don't work together and are on the same page, then it's not going to work out. Absolutely.
Well, we see them right now giving themselves a strong mid laner and a safe mid laner at that. So probably he'll be able to do for himself. That kind of gives the single to him. He doesn't have too much pressure on him. We'll see if the pick is actually going to be the hover on Warwick. We have seen Warwick back in week 1 of the LCS, but not since.
It's a very strong top laner. Yeah. Don't think it's going to get locked in here. I don't know how much Jezie actually plays that.
Everybody's just going to play safety until they can actually blow each other up. Not this time, though. The Thresh and the Ezreal to come in, something we haven't seen too much in the LCS, but impactful. Feels like he can be just that, as you were speaking about it. Brokenshard finds that Lee Sin.
Yeah, Lee Sin was one of his most played champions, if not the most played, until Kha'Zix became the new baby of the jungle, where he's like, this is the best thing there is, I'm going to play that. And his Pantheon, just taking that off the field. So there's 2 high-priority jungle bans here, and he says, you know what, I'm going to go back to my roots, and it's a contested pick, too. So he takes away from NKink and leaves him with something like Wukong or Evelynn, one of those types of junglers. Or Vi still on the table.
Looking at these players, just in general in solo queue, it is Complexity Red that kind of pulls up the bigger numbers in D1 at a higher LP, usually 90, 80, where Complexity Black is there. They got Diamond 3 to the Diamond 1s, but it seems like Complexity Red puts a lot more on trying to improve individual skill, where you see the teamwork really coming out for Complexity Black in their previous games. It could be a big factor.
And when you're talking about ROBERTxLEE previously, we saw him in the LCS on EG as one of the subs there, and out of all the subs that they brought to the table, I think he was actually the most consistent. He actually wasn't giving up a lot of deaths, actually getting kills, and played Caitlyn multiple times.
On social media, you'd see a lot that said, it's unfortunate that Robert didn't get to shine. People knew there was potential there.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player, and we're going to see him shine today. He's on that Caitlyn, that safety pick. He knows what he's playing that into. The Ezreal being a high priority here for Impactful, being one of their first picks, just locking that bottom lane.
And I got to love the pick up here from Fragnatic. Kind of paying tribute. We just had Golden Glue on Orianna in the LCS, so he's going to say, all right, get this rolling.
Not only is it a big shoe to fill, he just takes the same shoe and says, that's the one. I'm going to try to fill that Orianna shoe.
Little
Go for
gold
pentakill.
bonds in there. And
There's some room to expand. If he can get a pentakill this game, then we can be like, all right, Fragnac's a great pickup over Golden Glue.
That's true, because Golden did get a quadra. He's got some work. He's got some work this game. Jax and Morgana being locked in from what turned out to be a quick assassination team also gets a we can fight forever team coming in. Very nice for Complexity Black. They rounded out quite easily.
And I like that pickup from Westrice because he's typically known to play the Garen, which we saw him bring out.
Yes,
and
he did.
Also things like Shyvana and Renekton. But he's really known for those aggressive laners. His Akali was something he always played back in
He used to be all over Rango Knife Cat too.
Oh yeah, he loves those trade-heavy champions in the top lane, not the passive farmers. He likes those scalers, he likes those people who are going to be in the late game and be like, you have to answer me in a skirmish. That's where Westrice shines the most.
And we do see the Amumu being locked in. It's going to be a great bit of crowd control coming out of the jungle. Think back all the way to the man himself, Snoopy, the one who pretty much coined loving the Flash Amumu initiation, being able to retake a fight. We'll see if NK Inc. can do that here. We did put a point on NK Inc. and Brokenshard to see what they could kind of innovate for this game. Looks like NK Inc. has something for us.
Yeah, and it looks like a Wombo combo team coming out here for Complexity Red. Orianna Shockwave, you have the Amumu to synergize with that. Jez is going to get straight in there with the Shyvana, and of course Ezreal's going to be poking from the outside. Then on the Complexity Black lineup, we have more of an engaged, lots of gap closers here. Everybody on the team has some type of movement ability aside from Morgana. So she can lock somebody up and then Jax will be right on top of them. And we see a TP here for Westrice. No TP for Jezie locked in just yet. Could swap it over in the last 10 seconds, but if he doesn't, then it means that Jax, he's looking to just scale up and then eventually duel him. So once you get him out of the lane very early, he'll just be back. And it's about 3 minute 20 second cooldown.
Right. No, yeah, today we saw, I think it was first game a teleport or no teleports, and then second game all teleports. But it definitely switched today from last week in LCS to having everybody taking teleports now with the 100-second cooldown to your own turret. It was a little different today. But the games stayed around the same time, which means the teams, when you don't have to worry about it, they're still going for the wins just as fast. But with the TP on only one side, it's a huge consideration when you start the fights.
Yeah, it's very, very big. You don't know when they're going to come in, where they're going to come in from. You have to sweep the area very effectively and make it so that TP cannot be used in a prime spot. And that being said, I love the teleport changes because it means we're seeing more diversity in the top lane. Not everybody's taking it. Some people are taking Ignite for that lane pressure. And I was looking at 4.5 and I was like, oh, heal removes the debuff. Mundo's going to take that, right? Just heal yourself, get rid of the healing debuff of an Ignite, and then just heal yourself up with your sadism. It'd be awesome.
Oh, man.
But of course, he'll
Don't give him any ideas just yet. Complexity Black versus Complexity Red coming up here. The playoffs are about to go down. It's about time. We have gotten to it. These teams have tried as hard as they can to put themselves in these positions, and it has been a long road. That's what I meant by it's been a long time for these teams. A lot of trials and tribulations. Like we said, things such as, just dequalified from playing in the game because Complexity Black couldn't approach the last one with all 5 members. Things like that, but they're still in it because of their hard-fought play before. These teams know what they need to do, and they're going to keep their mindset on that track until they get it.
All right, I like this start from Complexity Black. We do see a ward in Bubbadub's inventory right now, and EG last game had a Morgana. Started with the Tormented Soul as opposed to the Dark Binding.
Yeah.
Hasn't locked anything in here just yet, but if it is Dark Binding for Bubbadub, then it means that, they're going for the aggression and that early ward. I like that. I like that because not enough supports start with a ward in their inventory, and since you don't get your trinket up until 2 minutes, that early vision is crucial. We saw it all throughout Season 3. Everybody's just like, let's just all start wards because of how much information you get out of it.
This will be very interesting. If NK Inc. can't get to his blue buff, this could be bad, and look where the rest of the team is going now. They're going to 5-man through. With leaving those 2 in the bottom lanes, Irene, they may be able to give a little bit of trouble over here to NK Inc.
And here's the thing, too, is if you put a ward there, you're going to see who helps him leash.
Yeah.
And if you see the AD carry and support there, you know there's a lane swap.
Well, a lot of information is going to come from this. Pings are only on their own sides right now for both red and black as we come into this matchup. So neither, I don't think, or I should say Complexity Red is not privy to that top ward, but they do believe somebody is in there.
Yeah, and being sister teams, you have to imagine that they scrim each other all of the time.
Yeah.
In a closed environment. So they look at these level 1s, just so much rotation.
A lot of
going
ring around the rosy.
Exactly. And to that avail, that ward isn't even used in Complexity Black, putting in that in the red bush up top. And they're just going to change blue buffs here. Pretty much textbook.
Yep. A really great move, and Complexity Black reaffirms that this is happening without vision on red, with vision on red, I should say, but without seeing any of Complexity Red. So Ink keeps himself safe. Figured he would. Like we said, these guys are innovators, and he's going to keep himself safe. See what he can do after this to keep himself on top of the game, because we know how affecting Amumu early can really change the pace.
And here's the thing, too, is Westrice is going along and farming the jungle alongside Brokenshard. Brokenshard didn't hit level 2 off of that buff, so he's going to get an extra bit of help here. They're both going to hit 2 at about the same time. And they're initiating, or are counter-initiating a lane swap here. And they know how it's going to go down.
Yeah, it is Jezie keeping himself to the back now. Only got a few camps. He'll be back out to do it. NK Ink. What's kind of the timing for an Amumu? We don't really see him too often. Does he just go after Bandage Toss, or you kind of slow it down if you're going against the Lee Sin that can counter? It's
pretty much just 3-minute mark. Everybody's going to have their buffs done. They know that Brokenshard is on this bottom side of the map. Westrice, like, Amumu can't help push turrets. He has nothing that helps him. No bonus attack speed, and he's very bad at that. And up in the top lane, it's that turret that has that bonus resistances to auto attack. So it's going to take them a very long time to get this turret, and it's the right move by Complexity Black to actually get Westrice that level 2 and just keep Brokenshard there too. Look at how quickly they got this down, whereas the top turret is barely scraped at this point. They could go for 2 right now.
Ridiculously fast. Actually, almost basically scraped. I thought they would have had it down by half. As we just see NK Ink whacking his head off the turret. The rest of the team doing what they can. Brawly's not letting Fragnatic get anywhere. Up in mana, looks like he is down in CS, but it's only because he's trying to keep Fragnatic there and pushing him.
This turret's going to go down about the same time the top one does. Jax gets bonus attack speed just from hitting things.
Yeah.
Lee Sin's passive, exactly the same thing, where he just used an ability. They actually get it before. Look at that, 2 turrets to 0, about to be 1. They're exploiting that Amumu jungle, and look at that, they don't even get it.
Complexity Black.
Look, they're going to go for the inhibitor.
Quickly playing the early fundamentals of the game. Armor on the top turret means you have to back. They still don't have it, and they're trying to pressure it. No wave is really even there for the top lane right now. And in the inhibitor turret, before 5 minutes is about to go down. This is crazy. The shield keeps it on. The flay all the way in. Brokenshard may not be able to make it out, but he puts the safeguard on to save himself from the ignite, and they get a kill out of it. This is absurd.
There's already 2,200 gold in favor of Complexity Black. They're chasing them down, but this is the problem. Complexity Red, they just barely got that top turret. They delayed that back, and now it's 4 minutes in. It's sub 5. That is huge. Just the amount of pressure that Complexity Black has made wide open for the remainder of the game. Open inhibitor already.
Some of the fastest play to the inhibitor turret that I think I've ever seen in League of Legends, and taken by storm. Complexity Black comes out of this one with a fire under their feet, and they are running for the victory right away. 3-1 in turrets. The global gold for, or I should say global, but the gold for all of those champions in the lane is huge. They were getting those turrets. So
Complexity Red,
everybody's getting a lot out of this.
Got read like a book.
Yeah, they did.
Their composition is like, Amumu can't push turrets. He has no single ability, not even auto attack reset that'll help him there. The fact that it's Ezreal as well.
Yeah.
Not that great at pushing turrets.
I mean, you can speed up your teammates, but
just a little bit.
With what damage right now?
Yeah. And the fact that it was the top turret, they had no plan going into this. I don't know why they lane swapped it. I'm actually really curious. It was probably just because Thresh doesn't do well against Morgana. And Ezreal against Kate isn't the best matchup in the world, but it's not something you need to lane swap.
Right. Maybe putting too much priority towards the red buff on the top side so they could hover down to the blue, when in reality, they, like you said, they took the aggression off of the bottom, so their blue was easy to take. I don't know. Yeah. Picking the Amumu is something you kind of can just say, we need to counter him, right?
Yeah. And they decide not to counter jungle him. They decide to just go for turrets, and that's how they counter him. And oh, man. Fragnatic's actually going to get locked up by the trap, take a lot of damage.
Oh, one after the other, and it kind of just cascades. You think they're done, but it just keeps following up. Fragnatic finds that out, now down to 400 HP, and it's about to be a level 6 here for Probably in the mid lane. I don't know how much now that everybody's soaking up his experience, but it should be soon.
And we see that Jezie's off on the side. He doesn't have teleport. He's going to be defending this inhibitor for a very long time, trying to freeze the wave, pushed all the way up here. And up in the top, Westrice, they're going to go rotate and get these turrets.
And if Jezie ever does decide to pull off, they will have teleport for Westrice on a Jax, who's going to start crushing down turrets. Already formulating the attack speed of the Blade of the Rune King with the damage he needs to go in any 1v1s and be a menace. And with a 2,000 gold lead, the team is sitting pretty and ready to shift into the next gear.
And you can see ROBERTxLEE, he bought the Berserker's Greaves straight up, which means that he's going for those auto attacks. He's going to try and knock down those turrets very early and very quickly. And if they get this turret, they still open themselves up for a dragon that has not been taken. And still, 2k gold lead here.
And I love how both teams are trying to respond and who gets the farm. We're 7:20 in, and nobody's even at 50 CS in the game just yet.
It's mid-game
It's been
already.
so chaotic. Yeah, it is mid-game. They've broken the laning phase so early that both teams are really in trial and error right now.
Here's the thing. They took the blue away, and they saw NK invading here, so Westrice is going to give him a little bit of a beating.
Oh, this could be bad. The Empower shot goes off first. He does get the blue out. Counter-strike. Waiting to stun him up. Hits it off good. He's actually holding all of his skills. Yeah, trying to pull him to the one side. And he could go for a minion wave on this one, but it's not going to be there for him. Gets taken out. Blue buff goes over. They deny it to Probably, but they're so far ahead, it's not like he's going to lose much out of that.
I like that NK didn't flash there. It was kind of like the instinct where, oh, just flash. But, of course, he saw that Probably was coming in. Oh, only gets Bubbadub.
That was close. Right on the edge of that one.
Look at those traps.
That would have been bad. You see what they were trying to do there.
His own. He's trying to just make it so that nobody can actually come up
ready
past
to
that
counter
turret.
your counter.
Yeah.
8 minutes, 30 seconds in. Brokenshard doing what he does best. Trying to get in the jungle. Oh, very nice.
Oh.
Stacking on the damage. And at this point, you got to realize how much of a nuke that Ezreal ultimate is if you don't have the armor. And you see Brokenshard going down very quickly, but they trade it for a mid turret. Complexity Red used their entire team to get that red back.
Yep. And because of that, they're able to get that mid turret for Complexity Black, just more map pressure. They were owning the jungle there. Brokenshard a little too ambitious, but Complexity Red had the right response. They give up a turret for it, but down bottom, they don't lose theirs.
And we haven't even seen much dragon pressure as well. I feel like Complexity Black is fearing that that would just be a chance for Complexity Red right now if they really wanted to try and get back into the game. But with 3,000 gold, it's quite a demanding lead, and I see the pressure and control for a dragon fight going to Black. For now, though, they stay in somewhat of the lanes that are left here in our 9-minute mid game.
Yeah, so the next move here for Complexity Black, since it's the mid game, it's time to go for Dragon. You need to ward up that blue area on Complexity Red's side, and you see that Complexity Red's already in position to do it, and they may start it up. Westrice teleport is down. They know that. They saw the TP get canceled, and now they're going to start getting in position for it.
This is that aspect I was talking about that Snoopy loves Amumu so much for. The fact that you can have that zoning effect in fights just like this. Starting off the Dragon, and K-Ink pretty good towards his Golem Spirit, but not finished yet. So he's got a bit of the HP on his side. Looks like they should have this cleanly. Dark Binding goes out, does not get taken. Complexity Red makes a very nice and necessary move to keep in this.
Yeah, 2.4 thousand gold. And nobody's farming top lane. It's 10 minutes in. Nobody's farming top lane. This is usually the point where you'll see somebody back and be like, all right, I got BF sword. That's great. It's like, no, we're taking Dragon. There's 5 turrets down in this game overall, just largely accelerated, and we may see that point where everybody just kind of takes a step back and calms down for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But I hope it doesn't happen.
I like this. When you leave a lane up top like this and they fight each other forever, I think the minions should like get a star if they've killed like 5 minions of their own, and they become like a commander minion. When you go all back, that disappears though. It would really help. I like it.
Yeah, I like that idea.
Minion mini game.
He's leading his brethren, most likely to their death.
Yeah, this is true. They're just worth a lot of gold. 11 minutes into this one, and the wards are going to start being cleared out here. Brokenshard giving himself some attack speed.
Yeah. And speaking of wards being cleared out, there are 4 sweepers already on the side of Complexity Red, trying to get that vision back in their favor. 3 pinks, 2 greens in their inventories here all across the board. They are desperate for this vision because that'll create picks for them and allow them to set up the correct team fight at this stage in the game. Because, like I said, it is mid-game. It is the time to brawl each other, not go off and farm. So now the picks are going to come out and the vision game.
So looking at Impactful's build, usually, you know, double lift, you'll have a Blade or a Bloodthirster before you go for the Triforce. Something else. Is this because, I mean, he's not even behind, but is it because he's feeling like the team is behind?
Usually what you do with the Trinity Force is you push turrets. The Bloodthirster is more of a laning device, and a lot of people have been going Trinity Force Blade of the Rune King on Ezreal. but he opts to go straight for the Trinity Force
Yeah.
because he's not going to have a laning phase at all.
That's true. Good point. Nothing to really farm up unless you're sharing it with the rest of the team right now. Communal farm all across the map, and it's equaled 4-1 in turrets, 2-1 in kills, and 18,000 to 15,000 is for exactly 3,000 gold in the lead. Complexity Black has all that to work with, what they wanted! Oh, the shockwave didn't just hit. Great flashes and disengage from Black on the spot.
Brokenshard, he gets a Q. He's not going to take it. So that is both Curse the Sad Mummy and Shockwave down. Complexity Black are in a great position.
Yeah.
They didn't blow any AoE ultimates. There's only the box and Dragon's Descent left on Complexity Red. Whereas you still have Soul Shackle, you still have Dragon's Rage.
Yep.
2 high priority things here for Complexity Black.
That was almost a must-have for Red. You see the vision in the top side of that jungle. Complexity Black was completely dark there, but they do have a bit of vision now at the blue. They are trying to contest. It's going to be taken away. Very nice job. Let's see what they can do to keep pressuring. Looks like NK Inc. He's safe now. I thought they were going to keep following in. But Westrice just to push the bottom lane. It looks like he's staying in the lane even though he has the teleport. Would you not want to put this guy top lane and kind of spread the team out?
He's going to start putting pressure on that inhibitor slowly but surely, and those wards all across the blue are covering him while he pushes up. So he's going to continue to push as fast as he possibly can.
Right.
He's the only person on the map with a completed item. First person out of Blade of the Ruined King. That is huge. And especially if somebody's going to come duel him, like I said at the start, he's best on those split push champions where it's like, all right, you have to send 2 people to even deal with me. So then you create map pressure elsewhere.
Very interesting to see how the players react with such low farm, how they consider where they're going to get it and who gets it right now, because it's going to mean a lot in the game, especially for NK Inc. to at least get some assists so he's not an Amumu that just gets flattened when he goes into a fight.
Yeah, it's big. Amumu out of the jungle, you're going to get less gold. And Bubbadub coming in from the side here, has everything available to him.
Oh, ooh.
Oh,
Nice flash. Throws out the Dark Binding just for a to-do. Just get a one-up on it.
Yeah. So the flash is definitely worth there for Bubbadub.
Yeah.
Soul Shackles for that, no problem. He sees that pink ward. He's just going to clear out a white first.
Slowly moving. And that just kind of goes to show, even though he doesn't have any more vision around him, he feels safe in that situation. Like you said, he's the one that no one can take on a split push right now. And with that confidence, it flows over into the team. You can see Probably and Bubbadub playing with this pink ward here. They get an easy ward down, and they get what they need, knowing that they cannot return with that vision. Oh, sweeper. Sweeper indeed.
Yep. And here's the thing, too, is Jax can definitely duel Ezreal at this point in the game. So Impactful has to be very safe. And Westrice, he's going to continue to push this bottom lane as much as he can. And the top lane will eventually fall into the hands of Complexity Black unless they mess up an engage. And even if they do, Westrice has teleport.
And you can see the bottom half of the jungle is clear. That's all Westrice. So even if Complexity Wed wants to return to getting experience, picking up their camps, it is not there. He is soaking up everything, as he should and usually would, but all of these things are surmounting against Complexity Red, and now they have to worry about that bottom lane. Remember, Westrice has the teleport if something engages at the top.
Now it's going to be Shyvana without even a completed item here. Has the Ninja Tabi, doesn't have Sunfire Cape. Against a Blade of the Ruined King, 2 kill, 120 CS. Highest kills, highest CS in the game here for Westrice. Most of the gold is concentrated on him right now.
Yeah. Just hitting 120 CS, and we're almost 16 minutes in, Zyrene. You can kind of see the chaos of this game unfold in the inventories. If you read them out, you just kind of think to yourself, what the heck happened? But both teams trying to adjust now. They've slowed down the bleeding on Complexity Red for sure, but they're not in a move to get themselves back. Black here has the timer on Dragon. This could be the move.
Yeah, it's up in 2 seconds here. Brokenshard's right on top of a ward. They see this, but Impactful is pretty far away. They're going to stand here and see if they can bait them in, but there we go. Okay. I was like, but they're standing right on top of one. They better sweep it or
that ward.
or put a pink down, and now they lose Dragon control because of that.
Well, they do have mid control now, but they do not have ROBERTxLEE for big damage. See what they can do. Westrice stays by himself. He's going to be able to throw it off a few on the fight. They do have Shyvana trying to pinch in. Jezie coming from the right side. Westrice being a monster over here. What is he doing? Going to throw up the Counter-Strike. Now the team's not going to be able to... Oh, my word! The flash jump gets himself to safety. They almost get mid-turret and take down Jezie. So with losing Dragon, they get a bit back and prep for what they need.
So they don't get any objective off of that. They get a Dragon. Westrice escapes by the skin of his teeth, which is what they needed. If Westrice had gone down, then Complexity Red could definitely push up and get this turret no problem. Right now, they can push up, and it'll be a little bit contested, mildly, because there is still a teleport on Westrice he could use.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there we go. He's going to go ahead and use that for himself. Oh, a little early on the hook.
Gets himself to mid lane. So that's actually going to be him walking. Nice flay. The 2 seconds going down on Counter-Strike really couldn't get the stun down. SupportDaddy and a good daddy. 125 to 104 on that top lane. Jezie has actually been the one trying to soak up the CS in the bottom. He's not able to come close to what Westrice has been doing.
Yeah, and you were talking about how if you looked at the scores, you'd be like, what happened in this game?
Yeah.
You look at turrets, another one goes down in favor of Complexity Black. And Westrice got 2v1'd at the start of the game. Highest kills.
That's true.
Highest CS in the entire game. He got 2v1'd, went along with the jungle, didn't get any CS for about the first 3 minutes, then goes down and they 4v1 Jezie at a turret. They just push it up from there. So he's doing really, really well. And NK is caught!
Whoa, that is one heck of a wombo combo from long range. Almost enough to take down NK Inc. He's got the HP to stay alive. However, 30 CS behind and doesn't have those 2 assists that we see over onto Brokenshard. And having that mobile jungler has definitely allowed Complexity Black to keep on this lane to lane to lane push they have going on. Westrice now to the bottom. Looks like they're back to mid.
Yep, it's back to the same MO as before. Mid turret's about half HP. They can continue that push right back up. Westrice doesn't have teleports, about halfway down. Be up in about 120 seconds. 2 minutes, and he's going to continue to push the bottom lane. He can still duel Shyvana very, very well. Once you get that first item on Jax, then you end up getting like Trinity Force. That's all you need. His base stats are ridiculous.
So what is Complexity Red's best option? Because they want Complexity Black to group. But when you've already seen that kind of shockwave Curse of the Sad Mummy ultimate, how do you get a team to group when they know not to?
It's very, very difficult. You have to go pick off that person who's split pushing, go to the source of the teleport, like always.
Okay.
But at the same time, Complexity Black is wise enough to try and contest a different objective. Be like, oh, you're going to go 2v1 him. If he kills one of them, it's a 1-for-1 trade, and then that other person has to run all the way to Baron. So it's very, very difficult because they didn't bring the teleport. So you need to move quickly and decisively on those 4 members who are 4v1 split pushing. You have many options here, but a lot of them look appealing and they aren't the right one. Like right now, Westrice can duel Shyvana. What do you do about this? Do you send a person to him? If you do, it's a gamble. But then do you engage on those 4 members in the mid lane? Teleport's still there. So basically, Complexity Black has all of the cards, and and Complexity Red has to wait for them to make an opening. It's very, very difficult in this situation.
Very difficult indeed. As I was checking the inventories, look at just the pockets that both SupportDaddy and Bubbadub have. Coming out with just the second piece of the coin right now. He was on mobility boots and a sightstone. SupportDaddy far and away behind the game right now, but he's still one of the guys that needs to make initiations. We'll have to see if they can get him in. He's had some flash flays that have come in pretty big, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. A tanky or a squishy Thresh isn't exactly the one you want throwing the box down to try and initiate. Things are only getting harder for Complexity Red.
Oh yeah, and another thing to point out here is that Bubbadub no longer has the Spell Thieves.
That's right.
So he actually sold that. Is most likely going to go ahead and get himself a Face the Knot eventually. Or Talisman of Ascension. Talisman of Ascension actually would probably be better in this team composition. Put himself right into the fight.
Brokenshard, just giving a little bit of harass as the mid turret goes down. We still have 2 minutes on Dragon, and Probably is working away on the top turret with auto attacks. Oh man, can he take down Jezie? Westrice goes for the stomp. Counter-Strike is down from just a bit before, and he should get this to himself. The whole team is being chased back by 2 in the mid lane.
So home guard spot up by Jezie right now.
He's
going to try to get Westrice. Westrice will at least get this inhibitor, and it'd definitely be worth.
Inhibitor for the death. He could jump out here to the minion. It's going to be the Ignite. Oh! Caster minions coming in with the siege. OP. Nice job and well played. The wards are quite far out for Complexity Red. Everything's being brought to the front door here. A good hit by ROBERTxLEE. Didn't put himself in the greatest spot with that net, but he gets out safely. He is playing with fire right now with NK Inc. just on his heels. Oh my god. They're getting everything. Oh, he threads the needle. Raid's coming up with some damage. Brokenshard trying to find it around. It would have been sweet if he could have cricked Probably on that one, but they find SupportDaddy as Complexity Red kind of jumbles themselves up in the chase.
And here's the bad spot. Here's the thing too. Super minions are going to start spawning in that bottom lane. Teleport is available for Westrice, so he can get into this fight, and NK Inc. has to back.
Oh my word. It's like 4 shots for the Baron to kill Brokenshard right now. Westrice coming in. He is level 13. He's 2 levels higher than anybody on his team except for Probably in mid.
Ooh, here comes two-shot barrage.
The mid lane, it's a little early. Nice call on that one. They actually had enough wards to see that coming in. That's taken down by Westrice. I think that was an empowered smite, if you will.
And all they get out of that from that true shot barrage is knowledge that the Baron is going down. And now, 8k gold up for Complexity Black. They've just been playing this game perfectly from the start. More turrets than actual kills just on Complexity Black's side. 7-2-2. It's ridiculous. Now they're going to go after the Dragon as the next objective. Just take that off the map, have those temporary combat stats for themselves. And now Westrice is a beast. He is so close to completing that Trinity Force and having the point with Jax where nobody can fight you.
No.
They have to 1v3 you at that point.
And he's basically been the only one. He's still 20 CS off what he needs to be, I'd say, at 22 minutes, because they'd have that. But he is doing amazing for the team, and now the fight to initiate it. Dragon, that going over to Impactful right before the fight started. The Dragon's Descent trying to knock ROBERTxLEE out. So much damage going on to Complexity Black in the start. Westrice teleporting into the fight, gets himself in a great spot. It looks like he is going to be able to deal some damage in the bottom half, but everybody gets out nicely here. Having the Ori and Impactful on Ezreal, they just kind of dissonance out.
So they try the Wombo combo there, the Curse of the Sad Mummy into the Shockwave. Doesn't work as well as they would hope. You just want it to disintegrate people.
Right.
Still left a little bit of leftovers there that they had to clean up.
It was surprising damage, but then it kind of stopped.
Yes.
You're like, whoa! Oh, that's only front end
And
damage.
then here comes Jax with the sustained damage. Look at that turret just getting shredded. All of the levels are in favor of Complexity Black right now across the board. Probably he's 2 up on Fragnatic, and we'll see in the top lane this is 1 up, Jungle 1 up, AD Carry 1 up. This is all across the board here. So not even just spells, but gold. A lot of temporary combat stats too that they're able to push in that team fight. Whereas basically, Complexity Black saying, we have to fight you right now. We want to fight you, and you're all grouped up. That's fine with us.
I wonder how the next game will even start. Because you have to consider Complexity Red is facing something that they've probably done a 2v1 swap and pushed the turrets, but the chaos of this game is probably not something they've even seen before. So next game could be a totally different story. This game's still going, obviously. 8,000 gold lead pretty much seals the deal with 1 inhibitor and inhibitor turret left, but Complexity Black could easily make the wrong move here.
Yeah, and they have so much map pressure and control with the fact that Westrice is doing so well on that Jax in farm and in kills. Just got going off to a really good start because of the rotation and shot calling of Complexity Black, that they've been in the driver's seat since minute 3 and getting that inhibitor turret at minute 4.5.
Right.
Just a hugely accelerated game, and Complexity Black slowed it down a bit, but they've been picking up kills and objectives still at a constant pace. They average about a turret every 3 minutes, which is extremely impressive.
Yeah, they have. Good thing we're at 24 minutes. Easy math.
Yeah. Did that one in my head.
Hell yeah. 203. Deathfire Grasp onto Probably. We knew he would be trying to make an impact in this game, but really he's following in the heels or in the footsteps of Westrice and all the damage he's been able to knock out. Baron buff has about a minute left, just under a minute is. He's going to maybe go for broke on this one again. He died for the inhibitor, but he's hitting it a lot faster this time.
And now Complexity Black, since they're ahead, they bought resistances instead of damage. You see Probably and Brokenshard both have a Spectre's Cowl to deal with the Curse of the Sad Mummy Shockwave, because that's the only thing that would shut them down at this point, is that Wombo combo. So Leblanc, second item after DFG, going for a defensive. I like that pick.
I feel like the pick for NK Inc. on Amumu. He's usually the carry guy, but when you're Amumu, you kind of leave the carrying up to everybody that is able to follow up on Curse of the Sad Mummy. I don't think he can do everything that NK Inc. can do on Amumu. I feel like he's more of a carry guy, but this time the team goes for a lot of crowd control, leaving it up to the lanes to do damage, and that's where we said Complexity Black would overall have the advantage in those lanes.
Yeah, and the funny thing too is Fragnatic's the new guy, but it's not his fault. He's 0-0-2. He was just dueling Probably the entire time in mid lane, which is what you should do.
Right.
If Probably leaves, then you go follow him, right? But it's not your job to go ahead and roam around.
Next turret being taken down.
Smacking that thing really hard.
Fragnatic getting it taken down for the ace in the hole.
And this turret's going to go down.
Oh, nice black shield. NK Inc. also wanted a piece of that. They don't want the Soul Shackle to break up the fight.
Westrice, he is still looking for that Nexus turret right now. He's grouping up on it, just trying to get something. Those 2 inhibitors are down. He's going to free up the super minions, have them group. When you get 2 super minions next to each other, they just create this huge force and buff each other. But there's the engage.
That's what they were looking for. Oh, they get the 3-man. He actually pulls himself in. Are they going to get the rest of the fight that they want, though? Impactful's getting hit up by Westrice. The AD carry can't do anything. 1 member left standing, and they have surgically removed Complexity Red from the map in a fight that Complexity Red initiated.
And that is going to be game here. We see Westrice, he was so strong, just getting people down. And it was amazing, just going straight after them. And they're going to close this out 4-4-0 in that last fight. 11-3 in the overall, 11-2 in turrets. Matching kills with turrets. Every time they got a kill, they at least had a turret too. Just great game, very slow and methodical from Complexity Black after the 8-minute mark. That 4-minute mark, just hyper aggression, and we talked about it earlier today. I heard Freak talking about it, where it's these are the type of contingencies when you 2v1. That was not one of them that Complexity Red should have whipped out. It was very questionable in terms of what they did in their rotation, and they got 1 turret in the time that it took them to get 3.
Well, the beginning of the game, I don't think anybody was ready for. It's something that kind of shook the brains, I think, of even the viewers. I'm sure social media exploded with what was happening, because you have to figure you're pushing, like you said, with an Amumu in the top lane against an armored turret with a Lee Sin and a Jax in the bottom lane, both getting attack speed off of what they're doing. That's a little crazy to be going against and not immediately adapt to it.
Yeah, and especially with an Amumu who doesn't have anything that helps you take down turrets. Is very, very difficult, and I don't know if we'll see the Amumu pick again. They're going to swap sides, and of course, first pick, you get a little more priority on what you want. But
I think in general, Complexity Red's going to play this next one just slower. They're going to try to feel out more, maybe some more early wards. Obviously, you can't get too many, but the 1 is more enough. The 1 will help. They had cover on their red, which Complexity Red had cover on it from Complexity Black. So they knew as soon as Amumu went for blue, they'd be able to do it again on the next one. And we saw that Westrice took that into his own hands and said, yeah, they're at blue. Let's come back and grab this.
Yeah, and I love the rotation in the route there, too. Took their blue, went to their red, got level 2 for Lee Sin and Jax, then went straight to that bottom and pushed it straight up. Great, in a great position there, even just buff-wise, because you're on that side of the map.
Well, we got more to go. We need to take a quick commercial break right now, but when we come back, it's game 2 between Complexity Red and Complexity Black, so stick around. There's more Challenger action right after this.